Welcome back to the Take a Chance on You podcast, hosted by me, Alexandra Forsyth. I want to wish everyone a very happy New Year's Eve. I wanted to pop on and talk to you about 2026 and how to really execute your goals. I've been thinking a lot about this lately as I put together my strategy for the new year. It can feel like a really overwhelming time. I know that the new year can be anxiety inducing as you sit down and reflect on the last 12 months, as you think about what's gone well, what hasn't gone so well. I think it's really important before you do anything in the new year just to give yourself a pat on the back, just to say, really well done for getting through 2025. It's been challenging for so many of us. There's been so many obstacles along the way. So if you do anything over the next couple of days as we enter 2026, just please say to yourself, congratulations and well done. Thinking about strategy and what I'm going to be talking about today, I'm going to talk about including mission statement, using rejection as momentum for change, so feedback loop, thinking about community and culture, so outreach and who you're talking to on a day-to-day, and some people around you should challenge your perception in order to create that momentum. And then lastly, some trends around young talent. Reflecting back on Take a Chance on You has really given me time to understand the next generation coming in. I know that I'm still very young, but the new generation, 20 onwards, really thinking about what that will mean in the future for us. So I'm going to be talking about all of this today. You can skip ahead to the sections that you want to. I would encourage listening to the whole thing. And yeah, let's dive in. So strategy number 1, becoming who you're meant to be. And within this, it's all about crafting a mission statement, putting your thoughts into action and building your personal brand. I think having New Year's resolutions, having a vision board, they're fantastic activities. They're fun. You can do it on your own, solo, or you can do it with friends. I think it's great to be able to, as I say, self-reflect, that awareness piece. I think it's great to be able to put down 2 or 3 goals that you want to achieve. But for me, and something that I've been working on, is execution. January is a fantastic time to execute, to really put the wheels on and drive yourself forward. And that all comes down to strategy, to possibly breaking down those goals that you have. So if they feel too grandeur, if they feel too big, breaking them down into smaller executable goals. You can't do everything all at once. It will take time. As I always say with any type of career, it's longevity. So whatever you're doing now, do you envision yourself doing this in 12 to 18 months time, and so forth? If you do, that's great. Maybe it's time we focus on professional development and getting you that promotion, getting you into a new role. If it's not, then it's looking at your skill set that you currently have, transferability, pivoting into a role that's more aligned with where you want to go. All of that comes under being able to craft that mission statement. So as I say, it's great to have those New Year's resolutions. It's great to have a vision board and have certain pockets of information and downloads that you want, but really that strategy, that execution piece, getting comfortable with who you are, becoming who you're meant to be as a person. So that mission statement, breaking that down into mission, purpose, which includes your values, your goals, and your vision. And I think your mission will fluctuate depending on which stage of life you're in. I think for me, my mission, it's always the so what, and it's why I do place so much emphasis on my career, and why I enjoy what I do so much is because my mission, my so what, is the act of service. I really like to help other people. I've noticed that a lot over Christmas. I volunteered with a charity, spent a lot of time with volunteers, spent a lot of time with different people, and it just brought it all home for me a little bit more. I really do care, and I have a lot of empathy for other people. So my core mission, my so what, my roadmap is that act of service. That incorporates my values in terms of respect, in terms of trust, in terms of empathy, fulfillment, satisfaction. Those are the types of emotions that act of service brings to me. My goals in the next 6 to 12 months, where do I see all of this going? Packaging all of that up. And then lo and behold, that vision, what is that destination? So what are the key motivators and the key drivers? Where do you see yourself ending up at the end of this? And you'd be surprised. When I spoke to people over Christmas, what is your mission? Where do you see yourself going? When you sit down and actually just be by yourself, when you give yourself time to just say, what do I want in life? The outcome might not be what you originally thought, but it's so rewarding because now you have an understanding, a better understanding of who you are, what drives you, what motivates you, and how you need to go on into the future. So that's kind of strategy number one, becoming who you're meant to be. I feel like 2026, it's not about reinvention. It's about realigning, pivoting, using the skills that you have, the knowledge that you have, be surrounded by different types of people and different ways of thinking, which will shape your perception in the end. I think that's great. And I don't think anything's off the table. And I'm making that very clear. Nothing's off the table. You can do whatever you want to do. Just know that I feel 2026 could really be the time where you start to create change and put those thoughts into action. Strategy number 2, rejection is momentum for change if you want it to be. So here, really thinking about feedback loop from others in terms of focusing on your professional development and again, focusing on those transferable skills. Who you surround yourself with next year is really going to be key to your success. This has been spoken about time and time again, but I think it is really cool and really underestimated on how much it can impact different areas of your life. Self-reflection, I think, is crucial at this stage as well for personal growth. I think there's an accountability piece there as well. Even the worst feedback in the world from people in your life can be, again, that momentum for change, but it can also be a time where you take accountability for where you're at, what you need to do to enhance your standing, either in your career, in your personal life. Also being aware that not everybody gets to come with you on the journey. 2026, putting your thoughts into action, crafting that mission statement, thinking about your goals. Not everybody is going to understand that at the end of the day. Your goals are unique to you. Your life is created with the intention that it's fulfilling by your standards, not necessarily going to meet everybody's expectations. So also building that resilience inside of yourself, that mental resilience to really get yourself through the hard times. I think that is also going to be key. And as I say, transferability cannot be understated. If you're within a role that maybe isn't as fulfilling as you thought it would be, look at the skill set that you have, build that roadmap and think, well, how can I get from A to B? How can I transition and pivot into another sector? Because it is possible. It just takes time. And going back to my previous point on that longevity with a career, it's not an overnight. The same way as personal brand, it's not an overnight, take time to develop, but it's so worth it in the end. Strategy number 3, the world is yours for the taking. I don't want to get all philosophical with the strategies. Experiment, seek out opportunity. The art of community, culture, and networking cannot be understated. It's outreaching consistently, always being on the hunt for connection, curious about the world, thinking how can you build community, how can you share your ideas, your ways of living with other people. People are craving connection, in-person interactions. That's become very evident to me, not just over the Christmas time, before that, during my podcast, Take a Chance on You, where I interviewed guests, sharing their stories, uncovering meaningful conversations. People are really struggling with their mental health, society's expectations, the economy. There is just a lot of uncertainty in the world. People want to come back together. They want to build spaces where we can connect and be around each other, like-minded, and be happy, be content, feel safe. Sometimes when we go through prolonged periods of time where we're not interacting with people socially, either through remote working, when we do come back together, we can find it even harder to have those meaningful conversations. So I think for 2026, out of the 4 strategies today, if you were to really think about implementing one, it would be something I focus intently on this year. How can I build more in the community? How can I offer more out in terms of knowledge and sharing my ideas? How can I seek out opportunity and seek out others? Because the world is a big place and can feel scary sometimes, but there are ample opportunities where you can travel, where you can connect with others. And there are quite a few communities online as well. If you're wanting to connect on LinkedIn, on social media, there are programs, there are mentors, there are coaches there. Again, it may take time, but it's so worth it, and you will find what you're looking for. And there are events that you can attend in the networking realm. So nothing is off limits. And I think that's the key message for me within the 4 strategies. Nothing is off limits. It takes optimism, it takes hope, it takes resiliency, it takes a shift in mindset, coming back together, but you can find ultimately what you're looking for. And hopefully I'm here to help you do that in the future. Strategy number 4, and the last strategy for today, is thinking about the podcast, Take a Chance on You, thinking about young talent, empowering the next generation. What I've really come to understand in 2025, I've been surrounded by students. I've been talking at universities all year round. I've been interviewing young talent, hidden talent on my podcast. They really are the future generation. They're bold, they're brave, they know what they want, they're ambitious, they have boundaries, they're not afraid to ask for what they want. And I think we can learn a lot from each other. I don't think there's barriers to entry. I don't think there's barriers to communication. And I don't think there's barriers to sharing that knowledge and building that community. I think it's time we all come together. My final point that I want to end this podcast episode on is doing things before you're ready. It's really hard to put yourself in the driver's seat in life because perfectionism, control, you want to make sure you have all of your ducks in a row before you execute a goal, before you execute a plan or the roadmap that you have in mind. When I first started Take a Chance on You, the podcast, I didn't feel ready at all. I didn't have a studio. I didn't have guests. I just had an idea on a piece of paper that I wanted to create space for people to come forward and share their stories right at the beginning of their journey or in the midst, because we all have strategies and recommendations that we can offer out to people. But I didn't feel ready at all. I felt very nervous. There was an element of responsibility for the guests. And then the feedback started to roll in, and going right back to the strategy where I spoke about that feedback loop, people started to resonate with certain topics that we were discussing. The same with workshops that I give and public speaking engagements that I do. I don't always feel ready for them. You're thrust onto a stage with a host of audience members who you don't know. It can feel very anxiety inducing, but ultimately you have to put other people before yourself. And thinking about what I said earlier on about active service, it's the same when you're building a business, when you're a founder, or if you're an entrepreneur, if you're working in consultancy, you're providing a service to others through the product. So you need feedback from the customers in order to get better. But you remove this personal undertone to whatever you're doing, and you say, what can I offer out to help others? And it's the same with this podcast episode today. What can I say to you that I am already implementing in my life, that I have been doing for a while, and that I feel will benefit you next year? Not a one size fits all. Everybody's lives are different. Therefore, you may not resonate with everything that I say today. There may be 1 or 2 points which you feel that now you can implement into your strategy for next year. But accountability and ownership, you should be able to walk away and think, well, Alex has spoken about community. She's spoken about hubs and programs online. She's spoken about the art of feedback and how actually we can use it as momentum for change. She's talked about mission statement. So maybe I can ask a few follow-up questions about how to actually put that together and speak to Alex, because of course you can get in touch with me and we can have a chat about what you want to do. So it's important to share your knowledge before you're ready, share your understanding before you're ready. It's your time to be brave and to be bold. There are a lot of people out there who possibly don't have the confidence that they'd like. If you do anything next year, it's to really get back together with yourself and to really think about how can you change your life for the better. So I hope that this podcast episode has been valuable to you. 4 key strategies to help you in 2026. Like I say, not a one size fits all. You should be able to walk away and start thinking about your own strategy. Try not to get too bogged down by the new year. As I said right at the beginning, it can feel like a really overwhelming time. even if you didn't, even if you go into the new year and you don't implement and you don't want to think about your goals just yet, and maybe you wait until February or March, that's absolutely fine. It's at your own pace. This is your life for the taking, to live it as you wish. And just know that there are people waiting on the other side of that can help you. You're not alone. Even though you might feel alone in the decisions that you make, there is a community waiting for you. And we will come back together very, very soon for a continuation of season 2 of Take a Chance on You. I'll speak to you very, very soon, and a happy new year. Bye.